Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. And what in the world have I gotten myself into today? Well, I've got this giant, and I mean quite literally, giant bag of Victrix Dacians here for their Warriors of Antiquity. There are 60 freaking models in this box. That's going to be fun. Whether or not I build all 60 is entirely up to debate. But these are 28mm as opposed to a lot of the 25mm or smaller stuff that's out there. Let us take a look. Now, important thing, that header on the bag here has all the important things of where everything connects, if you've never built any of these before. So, do keep that in mind, and you do want to kind of keep that handy for future reference. Okay, let's see how many parts fall on the floor as I attempt to take this all out. I can already hear them. Alright, after wrangling with the bag, I managed to grab the sprues. So, you have two different sprue types in the bag. You do not have any bases. So if that's an issue for you, be aware before buying any of this stuff or have something handy. Bases are easy enough to obtain, I'd say. So this is the main warrior sprue. You get 6 of these, and it looks like we have about 8 bodies on there. There are 4 cloaks. Now, the nice thing, check out the detail. They are very well-defined parts. Now, I know there's all kinds of stuff. You have the traditional Dacian falx. You've got a bunch of short swords. You've got spears. You've got enough scabbards, I believe, for everybody in the box, which is always a plus. Severed heads. There are only 4 cloaks, so do keep that in mind. I think I already said that, though. You also have options for everybody to be equipped. I believe everybody. Maybe not everybody. It looks like there's 5 bows there. 3 over here. 2 over there. I think you have about 4 or 5 falxes on here as well. The curved Dacian blade. A couple 1- and 2-hander swords there. 4 shields on the sprue. Now, if you have any shields laying around from any other kit, I'm sure that will be easy enough to mix and match if you're going to go that route. Shields are flat on the back. They don't have like a tiny little indentation, but they're not like, you know, the ones where they have like a little spot where you can stick their fist. So I do see quite a few different blades, scabbards, knives. Not a lot of pouches, but if you've got Frostgrave kits, which is what I'm thinking these are going to be great for, in addition to all sorts of other stuff and kit bashing possibilities, finding a bunch of pouches should not be a problem at all. In addition to the main warrior sprue, which we got 6 of, you also get the command sprue. So the command sprue obviously has the leaders wearing chainmail and a little bit more elaborate gear. You do not have as many bodies on this one. There's 6 as opposed to 8. We only have, 2 or 3 cloaks on here. So if you want everybody all kitted out like that. I'm not sure what this looks like. Part of a banner. Also part of a banner. Banner pole. Surprisingly, there's no axes anywhere. Plenty of the falx, but not a lot of axes. Similar shields. Blades and scabbards for everybody. That is great. I don't know about you guys, but like after building the Irish from War Games Atlantic, I really want a lot of scabbards. And then quite a variety of head types. And again, these are just the command heads. I don't even think I showed off the regular warrior heads. Let me grab that back up here. Oh my goodness. How many heads do we have? A lot. 18 heads. 18 heads. That is a nice chunk. So obviously, I'm going to go build, I don't know, 10 or so. But I'm also going to go see what I can smash together and come up with. So hopefully you guys are going to sit tight and we'll see what the fruits of that labor turn out. Let's check it out. Alright, we got some of our Dacians all put together here, and I gotta say, I enjoyed these so much so that I went out and ordered up way too many more Victrix kits to play around with. So, let's start with, I guess, the first few models I built. So I was really diligent in trying to follow the steps that they showed on the card back, and I was like, okay, I'm going to follow, I have to use this, this, and this. And the results were okay, but then I realized that all the arms kind of fit into a certain position, and that as long as I had a clothed arm for a clothed torso, because there are a couple of bare-chested, bare-feeted guys, such as our friend right here. Other than that, and I didn't do the best job of fitting that together, and I know they need to be cleaned up a bit still, but that's okay. They're just a gooey mess at this point. I figured it would give me a good idea of how to move forward with these. So the first thing I really wanted to do, and this guy you can see is a mess here, I don't even know if that's the right arm, was build a lot of guys with the falx. Their, signature sickle-like blade. So built up a few of those. And I want to say there's about 3 or 4 of the, no, maybe 2 or 3 of the bare-chested guys per sprue. There's plenty of falx to go around, so that's not an issue. One of the other nice things, though, about this kit is besides the falx, you also have access to plenty of spears. So we made up a couple of spearmen. And like I said earlier, there are plenty of swords and scabbards and sheaths and all that, so that shouldn't be much of an issue. Also quite a few cloaks. I like that. So you can have some very dramatic looking nobles. I think that's what I'm going to use all of my caped ones for. Again with the spear. I like the fact that, for as many guys ended up in this box, yeah, you're going to get quite a few repeat poses, but there is a lot of variety, and it's not your typical rank and file marching type. I mean, you can make a few like that. I know I need to clean these better. And there's a ton of head options. And another thing that's nice, so we have our falx, we've got our spears, but there are also just regular old-fashioned swords. I painted up a very boring one. Looks almost Arabic for some reason with the dark hair like that. I think we need to fix this guy up as it is. So just a very poorly painted one, but just to get an idea. Also on a larger base, so you can see they should stack up pretty decently if you wanted to mix them up with other game systems. Where is my Frostgrave guy? Okay, well, technically you're not a Frostgrave. Well, you sort of kind of are. I think you started life as a Persian immortal, but here's an actual Frostgrave guy. So you can see here, I think if you wanted to, they would work great for Frostgrave. They're a little bit bigger, but they're also, just so much in the box. Oh, speaking of which, I started to play around, and I figured, you know what, why not try using some of the Frostgrave arms? I've gotten a Shield Wolf shield. It worked out quite well. This is actually a body from the command sprue. You only get 2 of the command sprues, but that's got all the dudes in actual armor and even more capes. So these arms aren't originally his. That's the point when I started playing around. So yeah, you have basic hand weapons, you don't have axes. I'm thinking if I get some of the Vikings, I am totally going to hook some up with those. Here we go. I knew there was another one or two with the basic blade. Let's see. Still more falx. There's also quite a few smaller ones. You can see here. I didn't know what to do with this guy's arm. It was kind of left over. I figure he's urging his troops forward. Same with our buddy here. They're very shaggy looking people. But I think if you have other Victrix kits or just other similarly sized models in general, I think you can probably get away with using whatever kind of heads you feel like. I'm surprised I didn't do that yet. This is also from the command sprue with the big fancy cap. One last thing that I haven't even talked about yet is, so you've got plenty of options so far. I didn't even mention that there's also bits to be making ranged infantry and archers, which is a nice touch. I like this guy's pose with him pulling out the arrow there. This guy's pose, not so much. Maybe just let loose with an arrow. I try to stick to one sprue at a time as I'm building things, and I've yet to exhaust these. This is actually a cape off of a Allied Legionnaire kit that I thought would make for a great hunter. So if you wanted to start mixing and matching and throwing some Frostgrave bits, I mean, they totally will take them. I like his pose, though. Again, really, you could do whatever you'd like with these guys, and I think that's one of the cool things. You have 60 dudes in a bag. I was going to say box, but it's not a box. Not the most correct pose with the bow, but I'll forgive it. The way this guy reminds me of a Stormcast or something. This guy does not want to fit. This base of his is super big. You're probably going to need, at least a 30mm base for him. But he can be like a general type. And that is an optional bit with the cloak wrapped up around him like that in the chainmail. Looks like a Viking kit, but he isn't. Speaking of Vikings, we have our hornblower type guy here. He also had a massive base. I tried to snap it down because I wanted to put everybody on 25 circles for various game systems. I know I've got, what's it called? Of Gods and Mortals from Osprey, which you can basically throw the Dacians in with any type group. Also Broken Legions from Osprey, which has actual Dacian lists, which lets them bring wolves and wargs and werewolves and fun stuff like that, which we've got plenty of as well. So, I gotta say, and this is just a fraction of the sprues in the box. I haven't built more than 2 or 3, and I want to say there's like at least 6 or 7 or 8. So you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck. I think if you wanted to, you'd have enough right here for a small skirmish or small scale, rank and file game. You definitely have enough for any kind of skirmish game. If you want to split a box with a friend, you'd have enough for basically every type of soldier in Frostgrave. I mean, you can have your archers, you can have treasure hunters running around with, like smaller blades. You can have your fancy dudes. Big burly guy with his giant falx there from the command sprue. There's just a lot there, and I think if you have access to other historical kits or similarly sized figures, you can really come up with some interesting concoctions, and I would love to hear what you guys have done with these. And I'm thinking if I can ever get a hold of Warlord's SPQR rules, I know that's a small scale, like Necromunda style ancient skirmish game. I totally am going to be running these guys. I really dig their look. So, cool kit from Victrix. It's definitely got me intrigued, and I am absolutely going to be hunting down some more kits from them in the future. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamerlane with Obscurities in Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.